Round 4 of NPLW Victoria action sees the story of the NPLW Victoria season. FE Emerging host the struggling Box Hill United here on Monday Night Football on the NPLW Victoria channel. Taking you through this one will be myself, Oliver Walker-Peel, and alongside me, my right-hand man is Neil Simons. Neil, how are you, mate?
Fantastic. Haven't made this trip down to the Knox Regional Football Centre a couple of years. My school team used to play here in grand finals, but I have to say, to see this high-flying and highly touted FV Emerging outfit set the stage against I guess you'd say, as you mentioned, struggling Box Hill United outfit will make for quite an interesting contest.
You've of course seen you've seen every NPLW game that Box Hill have taken part in this season, and so we shall run through the lineups. I'm sure you're familiar with the away side. We will start with the hosts, though. In goal, they've got number 16, Kayla Sitsimovska. They've got number 4, the captain, Claudia Miocic. Number 5, Lucy Richards. Number 6, Isabella Stewards. Number 9 is Holly Furphy. Number 10, Jessica Young. Number 11, Francesca Iamano. Number 12, Caitlin Carriage. Number 13, Sarah Kane. They've got number 20, Leah Mulderry. And number 22, Naomi Chinema. And for Box Hill, in goal, they've got number 24, Kelsey Quinn. Number 4, Olivia Ellis. Number 9, Emma Langley. Number 11, Erin Kate. Number 12, Madison Van Doren. Number 13, Rachel Jarvis. Number 14, Paige Pinchton. Number 16, Irene Paraki. Number 17, Laura Pickett. And number 20, Victoria Zekas. So there are both of your 11s. Neil, how do you think this game's going to go then?
I am, for one, expecting an FV Emerging romp. Obviously, Box Hill have no W League players to pick from, but they will obviously try to rise from adversity. Obviously, it must be mentioned that Erin Hudson got a red card last week.
So a change in between the sticks then for Box Hill as a team with little experience goes up against one in it with abundance. But the FE Emerging are proving that they can match it with the best in Victorian women's football. With the host looking for a spectacle under lights, Box Hill will be looking to respond and spoil FE Emerging's party. As FE Emerging looking for an instant start from the right, the ball is just drifted wide, and it's wide of the right-hand upright of Kelsey Quinn there in the Box Hill goal, but an early start for FE Emerging, Neil.
I must say it was an absolutely blasting run from Lucy Richards down their right-hand side. Definitely caught the Box Hill defenders off guard, but FE Emerging operating on a high-octane press as we are sort of used to see. But it'd be interesting to see how Box Hill sort of able to sort of break down that press, operating on a very high line, and if they keep maintaining the possession in that forward half, plenty of problems will be caused quickly.
I mean, when I saw FE Emerging here against Boleyn, their forward press was the trademark of their game, and they'll be looking to show that again as they're on the ball once more. Ball played out wide to Mulderry. She goes in board. As they look to main possession, it's back with Miocic, the captain for FE Emerging. It finds its way through to Iamano on the left. And the assistant referee's flag on the far side has gone up, and the play will be restarted with a Box Hill free kick. Of course, Box Hill haven't had the start that they would have liked. Opening day win, but then 2 defeats straight after that. And a tough run in the next 3. South Melbourne, Alamein and Calder to follow for Box Hill. So they'll be wanting to get some points on the board, but it will by no means be an easy task. Turn around the corner as Paraki gets on the ball. Played down the line, and charging after it is Yuzevsky. And that will elude her and disappear behind for a FV Emerging goal kick. In contrast to Box Hill's form, FV Emerging's form has been quite spectacular. 3 wins on the spin to start their season, currently sitting in 2nd spot. One of those wins, of course, was a big scalp away at South Melbourne that no one really expected them to go there and win, but they did so with flying colours. And they're looking to make it 4 from 4 tonight. And they're much fancied to do so against a Box Hill side struggling for form. They're driving forward again, once again looking for Iamano in behind. It's cut out. The ball now with Furphy, who goes in behind. The assistant referee's flag stays down, and Caitlin Carriage couldn't get it out of her feet. She played really well against Boleyn in the game earlier in the season, but just couldn't get that one under her spell, and the chance dissipated. Good run from Flurry, but she loses possession. She'll get a second bite of the cherry. Nice bit of footwork. It's now with Sarah Kane. Now Miocic. Now a throw on the far side, which Lucy Richards sprints over to take. Quite an attritional start to this Monday night affair in NPLW Victoria, to close out what has been an interesting week in the women's Victoria landscape. Driving in board, ball into the middle, was looking for Jessica Young, who wins back possession. Richards to pick up the pieces. Ball played out wide. Chance maybe to cross is taken in towards Young. It's not cleared initially, Iamano, and that one's charged down. And then cleared away with power as the away side look to start their first attack of the evening. Now they're driving forward with Enterprise through Miocic, but disappears out of play. Neil, how have you seen this game so far?
Well, as FV Emerging have done this season, operating a very sort of high intensity, obviously making those lung-busting runs on the wings. Obviously got plenty of width and plenty of pace. It's just if they can really find the back of the net. And obviously I mentioned that, like Olivia Ellis has had plenty to deal with, and I think you definitely see Erin Kate very isolated in that forward area. Obviously a former FV Emerging member as well, so it'll be interesting to see how sort of Box are able to adapt. And it seems they are sort of trying to counteract FV's staunch start with a press of their own.
It's been effective at the moment as the ball goes back to Kayla Sitsimovska. Sophia Varley out of the FV Emerging side tonight. As the ball forward is telegraphed, but FV Emerging once again win it back. They lose it as quickly as they pick the ball back up. Poor giveaway though, and driving forward now is Sarah Kane. Ball in behind looking for Iamano, who can break into the penalty area. Can she get a shot away? It's rolled square, and the middle for the easy tap in is Holly Furphy. And FV Emerging with a brilliant start. They've been the story of the season so far, and they've had a great start here as well. Looking for all 3 points tonight, and they're on course already. Brilliant work from Iamano, rolling it square to Furphy for the easy tap in, and FV Emerging lead already.
Well, it was obviously Francesca Iamano who made that fantastic run down the left-hand side. She caused plenty of troubles for Irene Paraki on that left-hand side. Obviously rolled the square and was tucked away beautifully, and FV Emerging, I'd say expectantly so, have taken the lead here. And you definitely have to sort of cast your minds over to Jorge Leon and what he's sort of thinking in this very high-octane press that they're operating on, and how to sort of jostle out of possession there. Well, obviously, I think a lot of that will stem from Laura Pickett in the Minster midfield. She was probably the only sort of starring light in that sort of 7-0 demolition they were faced with last week.
Brighter stars in Victorian women's football have got themselves in front at the moment. Brilliant start for the hosts, who will be looking to continue in this vein. For the goal scorer loses out. As FV Emerging looks to clear their lines, not done so effectively, as the away side look to move forward and restore parity quickly. Driving the ball down the far side, it's rolled into the middle, shot on goal is blocked en route, and Sitsimovska will claim without trouble. It's now Jessica Young, nice turn. Looks in behind for Iamano again, who may well be in. There's Furphy in the middle, but good work from the Box Hill goalkeeper in Kelsey Quinn to get off her line and snuffle out the danger. Stepping in to win, a chance for Box Hill, but Miocic gets across well to cover. And spares FV Emerging's blushes for the moment. Ball out wide to Iamano, who's been lively early. And the referee in Laura Moyer spots in a legal bit of action. And so a free kick for FV Emerging, Neil.
And once again, you do see Box Hill start to sort of jostle the play a little bit. They're able to sort of operate in that sort of just outside the 18-yard box, just struggling to sort of create much. Obviously, we saw that shot from Paraki just then, and I think it appears that Box Hill is sort of starting to get into the motions and start to find that way to sort of break down the defense. And the stamina of FV Emerging must be examined closely if they're able to keep up this intensity for the rest of the 45, and I think more broadly the rest of the 90.
Taken down the line by Zekas. Controlled by Miocic. No shouts handball that fell on deaf ears. But now a throw for Box Hill. The rain now teeming down. Diaphanous floodlights overhead. Really creating a picture on this Monday night. But it's not a picture that Box Hill will be proud of so far, already being a goal down. Young plays forward. Taken down by Holly Furphy. Box Hill back on the ball and looking to drive forward in order to try and get the game back level, but they've won't get the opportunity here. Ball out wide to the right. Couldn't find its intended target. And Box Hill back on the ball. Good work to step in from Mulderry. It's now back with Holly Furphy. Looks to roll the ball in board. They're off the same page at one point, but they've managed to calibrate again. FV Emerging on the edge of the box is Jessica Young, whose shot on goal is low and easy to save for Kelsey Quinn, who now is called into action. Hasn't had really too much to do other than pick the ball out of the back of her net, but that'll boost her confidence with the save there. Drifts out of play. Throw into restart. It's now with Józefski. Rachel Jarvis. Józefski couldn't control. And FV Emerging irrepressible at the moment, working the ball forward again. It's rolled across to Stewards. As FV Emerging are looking to work the ball forward once again. Nice bit of interplay, and Richards looks to chase after it, but he'll carry through to Kelsey Quinn, obviously deputising for Erin Hudson, who got the red card last week, Neil.
I think really Box Hill last week, they just struggled to maintain possession, and especially in the midfield areas. And it was really Kayla Morrison playing those fantastic balls. She's obviously a W League returnee and played with that Melbourne Victory side that won the W League Championship, but plenty of potential W League championship-winning players in this squad. A lot has been made of the FV Emerging squad in recent weeks. They've obviously raised the age limit this year for the side. Teo Pellizzeri penned a fantastic piece this morning for Beyond 90 on the FV Emerging, and they've really surprised many. And I think defeating that South Melbourne side 5-0 last week really put themselves on the map, and obviously dealing with a fantastic and Matilda's legend and Melissa Barbieri in the sticks to stick 5 past them was truly a moment to savour.
Coach Helen Winterburn absolutely buzzing with their start to the season so far. And she'll be hoping that it continues. Assistant referee's flag stays down. It looked suspiciously offside as Furphy checks. Ball short to Stewards. Out wide now with Richards, who looks to whip one in. Well blocked from Van Doren, rather. Effie emerging with a massive amount of possession so far as they've got another attacking chance. Roll into the middle, but Box Hill should clear their lines and do so effectively. Ball down the line was poor, but Lucy Richards couldn't deal with it. She's now working to get back on terms, and she does well to block the cross. But it'll go behind for it. Box Hill corner kneel, and promise for them finally so far in this game.
Well, absolutely so. It was Erin Kate, the sort of star striker. She's very undersized for her position, as I've mentioned in previous broadcasts. However, able to latch onto their play and drive forwards was incredibly impressive, obviously. Played youth football at South Melbourne, and was also at Bayside United. And is also playing against a former side at FV Emerging. And the cross coming in here would be extremely pivotal on set pieces. Box Hill have struggled at times.
It's Olivia Ellis standing over it then. Captain for Box Hill. Whips it in low. And that won't trouble the FV Emerging whatsoever. Wasteful from the corner. And they've now got a goal kick. Have FV Emerging. Who've started brightly. They have had a huge amount of the ball so far. Miocic. Roll square to Chinema, who is the only returning W League player in the FE Emerging squad. One of two who played in, or who was on a W League squad for the season just gone. Obviously both at Melbourne City. Sophia Varley was signed as an injury replacement, but not in the squad tonight for FE Emerging. Obviously, Noni Chinema was also at Melbourne City. She returns, adding more quality to a side already having that in abundance. As playing the ball forward was Yuzevsky. Furphy wins the ball back, has a couple of Box Hill players for company, and eventually they overwhelm the FE Emerging players in midfield, and they've got the ball back. The ball forward was cut out by Mulderry. Young gives chase. Really well defended by Paige Pinson, the English-born player for Box Hill. Ball in board was a poor one, and they get away without it costing them Box Hill. The ball will go back from whence it came. It's now with Sarah Kane, who loses out in midfield. Driving forward is Yuzevsky. They've got real pace moving forward. Have Box Hill breaking towards the middle. The chance still hasn't gone at the moment. Working into the penalty area is Paraki. And a really good defensive challenge from Claudia Miocic. Turns that one down from a corner. But a nice bit of work from Box Hill, Neil.
Obviously, Yosefsky made that very strong and confident run through the middle. Obviously, it was cut out. Unfortunately, Paraki was dealt with plenty of pressure there from the defender. Made a fantastic challenge. Sliding challenge, if you will. And another corner. This time on the right side for Box Hill. One would wonder if they're able to penetrate the goal and really trouble FV Emerging for the first time this evening.
It'll be Olivia Ellis, the captain, once again to take. Lofts this one in. Punched away from Sidsamovska. Shot towards goal. And they're able to deal with it just about. It looks as if for a moment that Box Hill would have a chance to draw the game level, but they couldn't take it in the end. Young finds Miocic. We'll play to Kane. It's now wide with Iamano, who turns a marker. Nice 1-2, and Iamano will sprint after that. She won't get there, though, as Pinson was across the cover. Kane. Now back with Chinema. Miocic drives over halfway. Plays the ball short to Furphy, whose goal separates the two sides. The ball across, sold her teammate short. Chinema was able to get there. She gave the ball away, though, as Langley intercepted. A good bit of defending from Lucy Richards to turn it out for a Box Hill throw.
Yeah, Richards obviously after making that pressing run in the first minute, or first call of action this evening, she's been somewhat absent, hasn't had much to deal with. Obviously Emma Langley did challenge her there, but obviously former Bayside United player in Lucy Richards, and it's actually her first season with FV emerging, so a wonderful intake of players, and I think this sort of a point for discussion, Ollie. I mean, many players have been developed from FV emerging, and obviously the most notable being Kyra Cooney-Cross, and the question really is do they get picked up by W League squads? And rarely do they get picked up by interstate teams. But there's obviously an abundance of talent within this squad, despite the age limit being raised. So I guess it's really a focal point that we should address later this evening.
It's something we'll get onto. But it's definitely a good initiative within Football Victoria that they can get the brightest talent all on the same pitch at one time. And there's no doubt that there will be a few of these players playing in the W League soon enough, and maybe even for the national side, the Matildas, who are widely regarded as one of the best teams in women's world football. Box Hill have got a challenge on their hands, and they're looking to try and get back on terms. Ball short was to Józefski, who was able to win a throw. She's taken down the line. Chinema just clips that one back to Sidsamovska, who clears first time. Looking to keep it alive on the far side. Ball disappears out of play, and the assistant referee arrives at the decision that it's a Box Hill throw. Taken in board, well intercepted by Kane. Chance still alive. Audacious shot on goal. Drifts just wide. It's out for a corner, so it's taken a deflection. It was a looping effort that drifted ever so close to the goal initially, or closer than we ostensibly thought. But the FE emerging have got their clean sheet intact. For how long, that remains to be seen, as another corner from this near side will be drifted in. Ellis swings one in, headed away at the front post. Chance still alive. Attempting to take it down was Kate. Ball cleared away. Pinson plays it forward. It's cut out. Pinson should sweep across and have a second go at it, and does so. Driving forward now is Stewards. Intelligent ball out wide to Caitlin Carriage, who has been quiet. Not quite been able to work her way into this game so far. Kane. Now Chinema. Ball short. The pressure is really on here from Box Hill, but the FE emerging side escape it. Have the ball back already. Ball forward wasn't Sarah Kane's best. And they're looking to work it now. Work it forward. Box Hill United trying to test Sid Simovska in FV Emerging's goal. The header was flicked away. It'll disappear out of play for a throw. In to win the challenge was Young, who was able to draw aside a free kick, and they'll take this from inside the defensive half.
Well, I think it must be said that Box Hill have done extremely well to rise from the, adversity and early press that FV have sort of operated with. Jorge Leon, he's becoming increasingly vocal on the sideline, and, well, Jessica Young has caused plenty of problems for Box Hill, and obviously was a part of the FV Emerging, or formerly NTC program, as it will. The name change has arisen this season, and she's definitely one to watch out for. Her link-up play with Iamano has been sublime this evening so far, and I have to say that I think the high-octane press that they're operating on may lead to their detriment. Box are able to sort of expose the liminal space that they are afforded and able to attack as such, and especially these 2-on-1 challenges. As Iamano makes a dashing run down the left-hand side, looks to do a lot with it. She's tussling with two defenders, looks driving further into the box, and a throw is earned for Box Hill. So, sorry, my apologies for FV Emerging.
Good play from Iamano again, who has definitely become an outlet for FV Emerging. Miocic looks wide for Richards, but the ball sells her short. First touch from Langley, and she looks to break away from her marker, and Richards has her for company, but Richards will win the race. Does well to elude the challenge, and uses her pace efficiently down that far side. Furphy hooks it forward. Intercepted from Laura Pickett. And the ball now out of play for another FV Emerging throw-in.
Well, I think it's really the tale of two halves of this first half. I think we're about 20 minutes into this fixture this evening, and I have to say Box Hill have sort of risen from the depths of hell, it seems, as many would say, to sort of claw their way back into this fixture. Not reflected in the score sheet exactly, but they definitely are maintaining that structure and attempting to sort of hook the balls forward, and especially those 1-2s that they have, playing to the likes of Yosefsky and Langley, where the physical advantage does sort of favour Box Hill, will hopefully pay dividends. However, stamina is incredibly important, and Box Hill have languished in second halves. They scored 6 goals, so they conceded 6 goals against Heidelberg, and they conceded 4 in the second half last week. So it's a matter of attempting to sort of drive the play forward and where they can.
Obviously, in that Heidelberg game, it looked like Box Hill were on course for all 3 points, and in the end, that game resulted in a lot of harm to their goal difference in the end, which would have disappointed Jorge Leon and all associated with Box Hill United. Of course, 2 wins from 2 would have been a great start to the season, but as we know, all the optimism that built up after that first week win has dissipated, and there's a chance for FE Emerging to double their lead here. Jessica Young down the left. And in the end, a chance with potential has amounted to nothing.
Well, Jessica Young, sort of interchange, if you will, with Imanos, sort of paid dividends there. She's obviously got an abundance of versatility, able to switch between that sort of central attacking midfield role. She's dropped deeper in many phases of play as well, which is really sort of galvanized the squad. I think defensively speaking, FV Emerging have remained stoic. However, sort of they will languish in the later halves of the game if Box Hill are able to sort of catch them on the break, and that is something that they've done successfully this season.
Box Hill now have the ball inside their own 18-yard box. Looking to try and create an attack here, but they'll win a throw instead. Bit of pinball. And the ball now goes out of play for another Box Hill throw. Chinema goes back home to Kayla Sitsimovska, who at the moment hasn't had too much to do tonight. Ball forward to Iamana, who looked to turn it inboard first time. Could only find a Box Hill player. It's now back with Victoria Zekas. Went to Ellis via Paige Pinson. Pinson has it again. Young steps in. And there's a free kick for Effie emerging just on halfway, or just in a defensive sense, for Effie emerging just behind halfway, and it was taken quickly. Ball in board was cut out. Good bit of work in midfield, and the ball's played forward for Paraki. Ball hooked away. Then further forward for Effie emerging. Furphy looks to turn her marker. Hooked away, taken down. First time from Stewards. She loses out again in midfield. Chinema drives infield. But the strength from Box Hill win them the ball back. It's Irene Paraki again, who's been on the ball a fair bit when Box Hill have been in possession. Clipped down the line, but they won't be able to get there. And the chance is gone. But finally, Box Hill having a spell of possession here.
Well, I think they've really had the buck of the chances, or the buck of possession, in the sort of last 15 minutes, 10 minutes or so. They really languished behind the play in that opening stanza. And I think since then they've really started to sort of control and dictate the tempo. I think it's really a case of speed versus strength. Sort of two tight. It's like the Avengers. You've got the pacey wingers of FV emerging up against the sort of the brute strength within the midfield, and that's why the midfield battles have been won.
Not sure how we're relating that to the Avengers, but I suppose we'll go with it. Ball forward now with Irene Paraki. Further out wide, first time ball infield from Uzevsky. Caught all her teammates out, and in the end, Sitsimovska was able to claim rather easily. Stewards roll short. Back with Kayla Sitsimovska. In ball to Furphy. Looking for the ball in behind. The execution didn't quite allow for that to happen, as it was well defended by Box Hill. And the ball away from the goalkeeper for Box Hill and Kelsey Quinn. So they're able to find the touchline. FE Emerging looking to build on their advantage, but they're out of possession. And now it's out wide with Irene Paraki, who's working her way into this game, looking for the ball in the middle, but it's well covered across by Miocic. It was looking for Jarvis, but couldn't find her in the end. The touch from Iamano carries it out of play. And Box Hill all of a sudden getting an attack going.
Is that sort of right wing, left back battle between Paraki and Mulderry's coming into the squad this evening. She's really impressed sort of winning those battles, and Paraki sort of doesn't possess the same pace, if you will, as FE looking to make a dashing run, but it's cut out from the defence. And can they create something in the middle and possibly spur on the second goal? This game has been thrusted wide open seemingly, and sort of end-to-end attacking football, not too much play through the midst of the midfield, as the aforementioned Mulderry looking for options in the 6-yard box. Starts to turn around, looking for the whip, rolls it square, and the ball's cut out, effectively speaking.
Miocic looking to restart the attack. Shot on goal. Kelsey Quinn gets across to save. Obviously had to come on early in the second half against Boleyn after Erin Hudson's dismissal. Stepping in to win was Iamano, who now looks to drive toward the edge of the penalty area. She was challenged though, but she receives it back. Left-hand edge of the penalty area. Looking to whip one into the middle. It's blocked, and the ricochet back off Iamano will lead to a goal kick for Box Hill.
Well, I think, as you mentioned, Kelsey Quinn hasn't really had much to deal with in this first half. Both goalkeepers haven't been troubled extensively. Obviously, I think the other really glaring chance that Box Hill did have was that sort of shot from Erin Kate, sort of in that sort of destruction in the penalty area, is how you would want to call it. But I think if FE Emerging able to sort of, well, not sort of, definitively add to their advantage, they'll be well on their way to their fourth victory of the NPLW Victoria. And I have to say, and I think the question sort of remains, how will FE Emerging fare against, well, talent, well, realistically speaking, that has had W League and in some cases national team experience?
They did all right last week against Melissa Barbieri. Whether they can sustain that throughout the season remains to be seen. They have been the fairy tale story, if you like, of the season so far. And they have to continue that. They'll be looking to continue that at the moment, just to keep the positivity around the squad. Because a start like this would mean nothing if they were all of a sudden just to find themselves in a form slump. Young looks to clip it forward. That's a really intelligent ball for Carrick, who takes it down, braces to the area, shot on goal was just wide. Brilliant ball from Jessica Young to find Carrick, whose shot was wayward, but what a stunning ball that was, Neil.
Frame that and put that on a painting. What a stunning crossfield ball. And she lashed onto it, seemingly had everything going away until the shot just went gapingly wide of the goal, but textbook stuff from FE Emerging. This is what the personnel at the football club try to do, and to develop players such as these to play those stunning balls, as picturesque as can be. Finish, not so much.
Only a handful of appearances heading into the season for Jessica Young for FE Emerging. She'll be looking to cement her spot in the side. Ball now played laterally. Finds Furphy eventually. Ball in behind from Carrick to Furphy, but the flag goes up on the far side, so the goal wouldn't have counted if it had found its way in, but it was well saved anyway. Just under 38 minutes gone, and the score remains at 1-0. Holly Furphy's tap-in is the only thing separating the two sides at the moment. in what otherwise has been a game devoid of any real chances. Ball short is cut out, and maybe a chance for Box Hill to square the ledger, but it's cleared away. Richards now to Chinema. Now hooked forward from Sidsamovska. The clearance was slightly tentative. And FE Emerging win the ball back, but only briefly. Muldeary goes down the line. As Furphy wins the ball back for FE Emerging. Looking for the ball in behind again, and again, not a bad idea, but the execution was slightly off. Paraki once more. Looking to work the ball in board, but unsuccessful. Iamano once again looking for the run in behind. But Kelsey Quinn will get there before Caitlin Carriage and hooks it up towards halfway. Nicely done from Iamano. Nice bit of footwork as she drives down this near side. Ball in the middle. Clearance wasn't great. Kane. Now driving forward is Izevsky. Once again, it's given away. There's been a lot of turnovers in this game, but neither side really able to capitalise on those. Majcic now has something to deal with. Chasing the ball was with Box Hill there, and they just couldn't get on the end of it. But they'll be encouraged by how they've matched up against this FE Emerging side. But now breaking forward is Sarah Kane, looking in behind for Furphy, but couldn't find her. Jarvis with the ball forward. She really wasn't happy with it. Spent 2019 at Chichester City in England. Now playing back on Australian shores and looking to play well in this game. Also spent time at Southampton as the ball is in behind, looking for Iamano. The flag stays down. Massive chance for Francesca Iamano, who taps it past the goalkeeper. Showed composure and class to settle down and just poke it into that bottom corner. And after all the work that Box Hill have done, it's been undone by a brilliant bit of quality from FE Emerging, and they double their lead.
Well, Box Hill will certainly be frustrated how that ball sort of glistened between the lines there. And Francesca Iamano made an absolutely outstanding run and sort of poked it home into the bottom right-hand corner. Yeah, you must say she remained stoic, very calm, as you did mention. She tucked it away so effectively, and Box Hill have got plenty of work to do. You'd think that they'd be able to possibly earn a point from this fixture. However, the signs that we've seen so far doesn't exactly suggest that.
Great work from Iamano to get herself on the score sheet. All of a sudden, that goal may well open the floodgates from an FE Emerging point of view. Box Hill will have to make sure that they keep the dam wall busted. A clear like that won't help. Clearance rather, as it's still bouncing around that penalty area. Taking it down was Caitlin Carriage. Sewers whips it in towards the back post, and it carries behind for a goal kick, but nervous moments for Box Hill here at the moment.
Well, I'd say you must know it's a very cold night here at the Knoxton Regional Football Centre, where you can see the breaths of players sort of dissipate throughout the air, and also on a very good 3G pitch we have here. And Knox has definitely played in FE Emerging's favour. You don't have too many of those artificial pitches amongst the NPLW Victoria. Obviously, Bulleen Lions at the Veneto Club would be the prime example of that. However, FE Emerging are pressing in that front line, and it seems that they've identified and capitalising on those weaknesses so effectively.
FE Emerging now looking to grab a third before the interval. Good work from Izevsky, though, to win the ball back for Box Hill. They won't keep it for long, though. It's now up for a throw for FE Emerging. Paraki has been very lively for Box Hill. Clips it over the top. A good bit of defending. Make sure that the chance doesn't continue for Box Hill. Keeping interested, though, was Józefski, who was looking to make the run in behind, but he couldn't get across to her. And it'll now be Van Duren who will go over to take the throw for Box Hill. Takes it short. And already they are dispossessed. I will say, though, Neil, Box Hill fought admirably so far in this first half.
Oh, they've fared relatively okay. I think they're often able to drive the play forward and really dictate the tempo when they will decide to. It's very difficult to sort of, once again, I said, find those open spaces with FE Emerging. Driving through the middle through Young. Looks to play on that right-hand side. Johnson through the middle, looking for options in that 18-yard area.
Caitlin Carriage checks. Whips one in the middle again. It's Furphy. Prodded across to Jessica Young, who finds the top left corner. And 2 goals in quick succession. Has broke the game open. And a great finish in the top left-hand corner from Jessica Young. Puts FE Emerging 3 goals to the good. And what a stunning strike it was to bring it up.
My word, Jessica Young has thoroughly impressed the Box Hill and FE Emerging fraternity this evening with a textbook shot into the top left-hand corner. Goals of the week, NPLW Victoria. Look it up. That's one there right for you. And the game, well, certainly has evaded Box Hill in many areas. I think it's sort of just those gaps are open and they're present, especially on the wings, and that's where the play emanated from. Obviously through Jessica Young making that first run. Played it to that right-hand side. It was rolled square, and Young through the sort of jostling in that 18-yard box, found some space, struck it, and did that so well. And it's these sort of game situations where you have to be aware of the defenders around you, and to manage to get a shot off like that in that environment must be commended.
A rocket of a hit completes a 5-minute flurry for FE Emerging. A rasping drive that Kelsey Quinn had no hope with. She just watched it sail past her into the top corner. And FE Emerging, after battling so hard to try and break Box Hill down, have finally got some joy in the last few minutes of this first half. And it's one of the final actions of the first half. Box Hill much improved from last week, but at the moment it's FE Emerging's class shining through. They're 3-0 up at the moment at half-time. They found it tough to start with. They did start strongly after a goal with Holly Furphy, but after that they found it tough to break the visitors down. But 2 goals at the end of the first half puts them well in control to claim another 3 points in this NPLW Victoria season. Neil, you've seen every Box Hill game so far. Is this an improvement on what you've seen?
I think you have to say yes. It is a somewhat of an improvement. It doesn't exactly reflect in that obviously 3-0 scoreline. If you were to compare the 2 fixtures, this one and Berlin, the Ferv definitely better, and they've definitely got plenty more shots off that they would have anticipated in this sort of environment. However, it's definitely those segments of play where they just sort of switch off and let Box Hill drive the play forward. Iamano has obviously been an outstanding presence this evening, and obviously Young getting on the score sheet. So 3 different goal scorers shows the variety of FE Emerging at the end of the day. Not one standout player. And at the halftime break, FE Emerging 3-0 to Box Hill United.
And welcome back to the Knox Regional Football Complex, and it is FV Emerging at the moment, who are leading 3-0 at the moment over Box Hill United. They're in full control at the moment after a late flurry. 2 goals in really quick succession towards the end of the first half. Leaves them in the box seat at the moment. I'm Oliver Walker-Peel, and alongside me is Neil Simons. Neil, how did you see that first half?
Well, much has been made of this FV Emerging side. It's just sort of given them extensive acclaim throughout this evening so far. But I must say they've lived up to expectations. They've played fantastic football. But obviously, you asked me about Box Hill, so I will refer to that proposal that you graciously asked me. Box Hill, obviously after... Well, if you look at the last 2 games, they've conceded a cumulative total of 13 goals. Doesn't do anyone any favours. And conceding 3 doesn't really sort of put that into a great light. However, they have maintained possession in that midfield area. Their physicality is sort of the main thing to focus on, and Yosefsky has been sort of the standout. And also Paraki has had plenty to deal with on that right-hand side. As for the second half, I would expect Box Hill to sort of come out with a more intense demeanour and to push the play further. They did that in segments of play. They need to maintain a sort of consistent mode throughout the evening. But for FV Emerging, it's a lot maintaining that lead or potentially adding a couple more. The scorelines have resembled all near cricket scores. However, we do have a substitution, and Ollie will take us through that.
We do have a substitution, and rather surprisingly, it's Francesca Iamano making way, who obviously did score in that first half, so I don't think she's been hooked for playing poorly, but there is a tactical change here, and it's Alana Murphy coming on for FV Emerging to replace her. It's the only change for either side at the half-time interval, and Box Hill will be looking to start the second half much better than they did the first, conceding with about 5 minutes gone in the first half, and they'll be hoping that doesn't happen to them again. The lightning doesn't strike twice. It's back with Sitsimovska. Played forward. Nice turn from Furphy. And she was fouled. And so they'll get a free kick here. FV Emerging, who will be delighted with the way that they've not only started this game, but started their season. It looks like they'll be going 4 from 4 and sets up a heavyweight clash against Alamein next week. Turn around the corner for Richards, who will meet it. Whips in first time. Still the chance is alive. It's back with Holly Furphy. Game against Alamein. Alamein have been decent enough to start the season. Saw them against Bayside United and got a huge win there. So it'll be Alamein next on the list for FV Emerging. And it'll be here as well. So definitely a lot for both sides to think about heading into that game. But we've still got a lot more football to be played tonight, as it's with Caitlin Carriage, who looked to slide in after losing possession. Ball's cleared away as Chinema goes across the cover.
Well, I think, as you mentioned, that Alamein game is going to be really key for them. Alamein drew 1-1 against Heidelberg last week, as the call for free kick is not answered by the referee. As a continued jostle between possession. Here comes Yosefsky on that right-hand side, looking for options in Emma Langley as the ball goes out for a throw-in. But yes, I think FV Emerging have maintained a very sort of high intensity, and they remain composed and calm. Not too many free kicks have been given away. It's really just textbook quality. It's just I think the best way to describe it is you have a well-oiled institution that is pushing these players through, and they're thriving in their environments at the helm of Victorian football, and it's fantastic to see. Well, I think how far their development will go, but I think all signs really point to a victory this evening. But the question is, well, can they maintain that sort of composure throughout the season? We're only 4 rounds in, and there's plenty more to come.
Chance now for Box Hill to maybe work forward. And tripped over the ball there, so there was an invisible player who's cleaned up the Box Hill attacker from behind, because there was no FE emerging player that got anywhere near it, but there's been a free kick given anyway. And they were looking to capitalise. Ball to the edge of the box. Richards now turns. Chance now for FE emerging to maybe grab a fourth. Shot on goal from range is blocked en route. As Box Hill will look to break forward with Pickett, looking to play the ball out wide. Miocic gets across. Now FE emerging, looking to break forward once more. Ball now for Caitlin Carriage, who breaks into the area. It's Caitlin Carriage, and it's a good save at the near post from Kelsey Quinn, who had to be alert. But she did her duty well when called upon, and a good save at the front post to prevent it being 4-0.
Well, Carriage once again drifted into space very effectively. Shot on goal, perhaps not enough power on it. And Caitlin Carriage has... Well, obviously, we've mentioned that interplay between Young and the substituted Iamano. But Carriage must not be counted out. Obviously, has been involved extensively at the NTC program, well, FE Emerging program, and obviously scored in that 11-0 victory as well. Scored 6. So there you go. There's one for your liking. Carriage possesses plenty of variety on that right-hand side, and let's see if she can be the star of the second half.
That was in an under-16s game against Southern United, scored 6 in an 11-0 rout. So she's obviously got quality, Caitlin Carriage, but she's now got to show it in the FV Emerging setup at NPLW level. She played well against Boleyn in the game that I saw here earlier this season. She just will want to carry that on. Was unlucky not to score as well in the first half, had a chance that drifted just wide. But that will give Helen Winterburn confidence that they have got so many options to turn to. Ball over the top looking for Caitlin Carriage, who takes it down. Was she fouled? And the answer is yes. And at the moment, this may well go to from bad to worse for Box Hill United. Was right on the edge of the penalty area. And the first yellow card of the game has been brandished. It was Caitlin Carriage bearing down on goal. And the foul not helping out Box Hill at the moment, Neil.
Well, definitely not. She's been quite the presence in these opening stages in this second half. Well, there's quite a lot of conjecture if that push was made inside or outside the 18-yard box. However, just on the edge of the penalty area here, FV Emerging will look to earn their first of the second half.
It's a free kick in a decent position, right of centre, whipped in towards the back post, and the header is wide. But a decent delivery in from the FV Emerging. It was a substitute in Alana Murphy who whipped it in. Had some curl on it, but the header unable to be directed goalwards.
Well, the ball had plenty of weight on it. It was directed in the right area, just at the back post, but seems to be Box Hill clearing their lines effectively as FV Emerging on a very high press now. And let's see if Yosefsky can latch onto that. She does briefly. She drives away from the play. Courage and a tussle there with the defender. And Box Hill win possession.
Chinema uses her pace to get to the ball first. Finds Sitsimovska, who will be happy with the amount that she's had to do, which at the moment has been very little. Has made a few saves when called upon, but they've been few and far between tonight. I mean, in fairness, Kelsey Quinn, other than having to retrieve the ball from the back of her net 4 times, hasn't had too much to do either. 3 times rather, it's only 3-0, I'm getting too excited. Alana Murphy was looking to make it 4. Now, Holly Furphy. Finds Chinema. It's now with Lucy Richards, who looks to play it forward, but it'll disappear out of play for a Box Hill throw.
Well, I can see why they're getting a little bit overzealous there. They've obviously been very close chances for FE Emerging in the second half, and Box Hill struggling to parry the ball forward, and I think we're seeing remnants of what was left of that first half or first opening stanza. Sort of a bit of nostalgia for FE Emerging and actualizing that in motion so effectively. As the long throw to come here from Box Hill.
Good run forward from Yuzevsky. Her progress was halted. Ball back now with Emma Langley, who was the pass intended for Emma Langley once more, but she couldn't get there. Ball clipped over the top, looking for the substitute in Murphy. But Quinn rushes off the line to hook that one out of play. As we've had to wait a little while to get the ball back into play, it's hit the wire just above the touchline there. Chinema finds Sitsimovska. Now to Richards. Ball breaks kindly for Emma Langley of Box Hill, but her team's lost possession. The ball's collided with the referee in Laura Moyer. And so the game will be restarted with a drop ball. Chinema rolls it short to Lucy Richards, who looks to play it in field. It's intercepted from Yuzevsky, who has been a shining light for Box Hill in a poor start to the season. But nonetheless has been quiet in this game. Good pressure from the forwards of FE Emerging. Carriage looks to roll it into the middle and off the line is Kelsey Quinn, who spares Box Hill's blushes, but they're overplaying it at the back, Neil.
Well, absolutely so. Holding possession too long in that crucial 18-yard box where, well, I guess the press led to their fortunes, or played into their fortunes, so to speak. As FE Emerging looking to drive down the play, the defender jostling up the field, and FE Emerging will win the throw.
It's all going to plan for FE Emerging. 3 goals to the good, and they'll be looking to increase that in the second half as the ball in from this near side was taken by Quinn, who rolls out quickly. To the far side, she found Irene Paraki. He rolls the ball back. It's now Olivia Ellis. Plays it forward. And Effie emerging. Win back possession. Sliding challenge took the ball away from Holly Furphy. And so the hosts will have a throw in their navy blue home kit, kicking from left to right. Box Hill in their changed white away kit. The away shirt, white shirts and blue shorts from right to left. Chinema looks to clip one forward. Good ball looking for Carriage. Kelsey Quinn gets off her line and gets there ahead of the right winger for Effie emerging. But once again, another good intelligent ball over the top.
Well, absolutely so. Those crossfield balls or balls played into the wing areas have been sublime this evening and has definitely paid the dividends. As Yosefsky, look at that onto that one. It's actually Erin Cates who looked to play that ball forward as a long ball is played. And Kelsey Quinn will do well to retain and dry up the tempo here.
Good work to step in, and Box Hill might now have a chance. There's options to the left. It's found. Chance for Box Hill to get on the score sheet. Cutting back is Erin Kate. And a good tackle from Naomi Chinema in order to preserve the clean sheet and not allow a shot on goal. Carriage rolls in field, and now Effie emerging like break forward for a fourth. And Alana Murphy straight into an offside position before the ball was played, so she was looking to get back on side, and in the end that hindered the chance. Box Hill finally working their way into the second half. Nice 1-2 as Yuzevsky receives back. She's broken in behind into the area. Yuzevsky finds the bottom corner, and there's one back for Box Hill. Great bit of interplay. And Alana Yuzevsky, we've earmarked her as a star player for Box Hill United, and she's shown her class there. Not too dissimilar to Iamano's goal in the first half. And it's been replicated in the second half for Alana Yuzevsky, and maybe a way back into the game for Box Hill, Neil.
We're in for a turbulent turn of events here at the Knox Regional Football Complex. As Anna Yosefsky, the brilliant run down that left-hand side, slotted home in that bottom right-hand corner. You have to say, if it wasn't a goal, it was a certain penalty there. The defender nudged her as she was in a follow-through. And Effie emerging. Is it about sitting back or perhaps pressing to play? Pressing to play seems to be the plan. As the ball is driven into that 18-yard area, cross is taken. Kelsey Quinn is troubled. And she does retain in her breadbasket.
It was Alana Murphy in the middle whose eyes would have bulged. They would have been lit up there with a chance. She thought that she would have scored and answered right back with an instant reply. But it was well saved by Quinn, who keeps the score at 3-1. But Alana Murphy will feel that she should have scored. Lucy Richards under a little bit of pressure, finds Naomi Chinema. Across to Miocic. Looks forward, looking for Caitlin Carriage, but well defended. Now heading the ball down. Box Hill looking to work the ball forward. Good work from Emma Langley, who puts it into the middle. Chance again for Erin Kate. And the chance goes as quickly as it came about. Still the chance may well work, but good piece of defending from Muldeary to get back on terms and turn it out of play. But Box Hill, they've got the momentum here.
The strides forward, the confidence, the eagerness, and the anticipation has been outstanding from Box Hill in these last 5 minutes. there seems to be a bit of animosity between these two sides. There's been a couple challenges there and there. The rainy conditions are certainly taking effect in this fixture thus far as the pitch begins to soak as FV continue to drive through transition here.
Good work to get back on defence from Emma Langley to get back on her defensive duties to disrupt Lucy Richards' move forward. And the hosts will have to settle for a throw. They'd still be confident that they can see out this game, but a little bit of doubt might creep into the minds of everyone associated with FV emerging after Alana Yuzevsky's calm finish. Still, though, the home side in a good position. But this game, by no means over. Can Box Hill do to FV emerging what Heidelberg United did so effectively to Box Hill and finish with a flurry? Ball in behind. A chance maybe for FV emerging to grab a fourth. It was Isabella Seward who tried to prod the ball in behind, but wasn't effective. Moving forward is Furphy. Tried to look in behind for Carriage. Didn't quite work out. Emma Langley finds Yuzevsky on the turn. They've won the ball back here. FV emerging through Kane. Good work down the left from Jessica Young. And looked to make Kelsey Quinn work, but it was a catchable height for her. And she claims rather easily. Out wide now to Langley. Looking for the reverse ball, but her and Yuzevsky weren't on the same page. Ball forward for Alana Murphy. Now Chinema. Looking to find Richards. The ball won't get to her though. Once again, Box Hill overplaying. They've lost out. Chinema rolls square to Claudia Miocic. Her ball forward was cut out, but it won't prevent a throw into the home side. Taken down the line.
Well, you have to say the momentum has shifted towards FV emerging in these last 5 minutes after that, I'd say, flurry from Box Hill, would you call it? It was some lung-busting runs made and not a lot was made of it after that Yosefsky's finish. However, well, the aforementioned Yosefsky attempts to drive play forward, is cut out. Kate looking to win the ball. Yosefsky does win it. She has Langley for support on the left-hand side. However, Richards will clear for a throw-in.
As a Box Hill player down here, Laura Pickett. Well, we do have a Box Hill expert alongside me who has informed me of that, having seen all Box Hill games in the NPLW this season, but obviously being 3-1 down, they wouldn't want to add insult to injury with an injury. It's not Laura Pickett. It's Victoria Zekas, and all of a sudden my expert has unreliably informed me, but still a massive problem for Box Hill with Victoria Zekas. And Neil, this would be horrible for Box Hill if she is to be withdrawn, and it looks to be the case.
Well, absolutely so. It would actually be a substitution. The sister is coming on. The fellow Zekas will be coming on the pitch in Johanna Zekas. So not often you get a substitute, well, sibling for sibling. We do see that in the A-League with Mohamed Toure and Alassane Toure. However, in the NPL you do get the same, and she will operate in that similar position. She's got a couple of games this season so far, and has had quite the career so far for Box Hill.
It's a second spell out the club behind Azikas, a wing back by trade. In what position will she be deployed tonight? Whether it's something similar or whether she'll be operating in a role further forward in an attempt to try and get Box Hill back into this game, we'll wait and see. Ball now finds its way to Sarah Kane. Zephyr emerging look for a fourth. Fourth goal for them would probably seal all 3 points for them, but moving forward now is Izevsky. Good challenge in to win. It was Kate rather, I do apologise, as Richards now looks to move forward. Ball goes long down the line. Miocic should get across the cover. It's now with Lucy Richards. Ball looking down the line for Caitlin Carriage. Good clearance, and now there's an FE emerging throw, Neil.
Well, that clearance nearly knocked about 5 supporters over. Sort of just hit that wire, but you have to say, Box Hill love to operate on the counter. Through that famed counter press, Paraki unable to reach that ball. However, Box Hill, they've seemed to have retained some of their energy from the first half, and not much of it has been expended this second half. FE Emerging's legs perhaps are being subdued in one way or another.
So ball forward now through Jessica Young. Really good bit of defending, but the ball will stay on. Miocic now for FE Emerging. Ball cut out by Ellis, who clips forward. Asks a lot of the Box Hill attackers to chase after that, and in the end, none of them will get there. Chinema, as we mentioned, spent time at Melbourne City in the W League. Now Jessica Young finds the centre half in Miocic. Ball over the top. Headed down into a path by Holly Furphy. Got Carriage in the middle, if you can find her. Good piece of defending prevents it. And now an FE Emerging throw.
Well, Furphy jostling in behind the defender. Did well to latch onto it with some textbook defending from Box Hill. And will they look to make it 4?
Good run towards the byline, cut back. And it's cleared away for another corner on that far side. And all of a sudden, FE Emerging, after having a spell of defending to do earlier in the second half, once again looking ominous up forward. If they're able to restore the 3-goal cushion, then you'd think it may well be game over. They can restore the 3-goal cushion, it might well be game over, but that corner won't do anything to help it. It's claimed by Kelsey Quinn, who looks to immediately spring Box Hill into life. Back with Van Duren. Good ball forward in behind. It's Alana Murphy bearing down on goal. Could this seal the game? It very well might have done. Once again, another composed finish underneath Kelsey Quinn. And the 3-goal cushion is restored. And that might well be all 3 points for FE Emerging. They've been professional all night once again. And all their effort in front of goal is paying off once more.
Another finish through transition, making a brilliant dashing run. There was some calls for offside. From our vantage point, we're unable to gauge that as of yet. However, the 3-goal cushion is restored. And FV Emerging, well, I think we can now comfortably say at least, Ollie, the victory has been secured, and they're sending an ominous warning to the rest of the NPLW teams. We're here to play, and we're not here to let up.
And not here to make up the numbers. But I don't think even the most passionate of FV Emerging supporters and staff could have predicted this start. Absolutely barnstorming football they've played so far this season. And they're looking towards the upper reaches of the NPLW Victoria table. They really are matching it with the best, and it does provide a glittering look at what Australian women's football could be in the next few years. Because if the other states are producing footballers like Victoria are, we may well be on for a good few Matildas teams in the next few years. Another chance for FE Emerging comes to nothing as Miocic sweeps across. Chinema. Miocic again. That's a ball forward from Young. Disappears out of play for a Box Hill throw.
Well, I really do echo your sentiments, Ollie. You've made some, well, certainly interesting assertions, and I think, well, the rest of the NPLW supporters would agree with you. Supporters of this competition, it's fantastic to obviously have a streaming presence once again, and I guess for more broadly A-League clubs to scout these players well and truly, and the FV Emerging more sort of side or development squad is in place to facilitate teams scouting these players as the ball is drifted down to that 18-yard box. However, a corner will be earned. Well, it's actually still in play. My apologies.
It does stay in play towards that corner. I'm sure there will be some W League representatives tuning into these streams just to see what the landscape of Victorians women's football is like, and at the moment this is an advertisement. Jessica Young on the far side looking to create something. She has support. The chance still alive. Left-hand edge of the penalty area. And the ball goes behind for yet another corner.
I must say there was some trickery there. Toing and throwing. Drifting in. Obviously the deflection was caused, and the corner for FV Emerging. They have remained threatening on set pieces. However, none of the chances that they've had has reached the back of the net. Kelsey Quinn dealing with it relatively well.
So a corner now then from the FV Emerging left. Whipped in, but it clears everyone for the moment. Chinema will look to reload the attack and can only send it behind for a goal kick. Of course, if it was to stay like this, FV Emerging would be really knocking on the door of top spot. Obviously, they have raised a few eyebrows at the moment this season. Wouldn't it be a story if they were to go all the way and win the league? Still a long way to go yet, of course. There's no doubting that, but the FV Emerging players and staff will be daring to dream. It's currently colder on top at the moment, and FV Emerging would displace them with this result. Testament to what they've done all season as the ball in behind for Jessica Young. She's tripped in the area. It's got to be a penalty, and it is. Easy decision for the referee as Jessica Young went down under the challenge. And there's a chance for the FV Emerging to make it a 5-star performance from 12 yards.
Another 5-goal performance? You wouldn't have thought that would have been possible. However, Young did well to be tripped there to get into the right position at the right time, as it appears that the penalty taker, just trying to make out who that will be.
So from 12 yards, the FV Emerging would surely seal all 3 points and alleviate any doubt as to the result at the moment. It's Naomi Chinema from the penalty spot, looking to make it 5. You could hear a pin drop here at the moment, as silence has fallen upon the Knox Regional Football Complex. It's Naomi Chinema from the spot, and it's crept in. In fact, it hasn't. It's well saved, expertly saved. I thought the cheers had come from the FV Emerging bench, but it's really well saved from Kelsey Quinn, who hasn't had much to shout about. And Naomi Chinema unable to make it 5-1.
Nice to see the Box Hill teammates getting around Kelsey Quinn, as we do see Paraki come off, and on ball come Helena Fotopoulos. Had started that first game against Bayside United and put in quite a sizable shift on that left-hand flank. However, all the chocolates to go to Kelsey Quinn. Ball whipped in on the rebound. There's some commotion in the box there as the chance evades FV Emerging for now, and will Box Hill seek to attack on the counter.
Yeah, from my vantage point, I thought that had crept into the corner, but expert save from Kelsey Quinn to get down low and save the penalty, but still they're relentlessly moving forward here, the FV Emerging side. Ball forward from Kate, and the ball drifts out of play for an FV Emerging throw. I will say the vantage point from which we're commentating from isn't as ideal as perhaps it could be. We're on the third row of a stand, so it's not as high as we've been accustomed to this season. As the ball forward is looking for Furphy. Chance still alive, but good piece of defending. And despite the scoreline, the Box Hill United bench are up and about, trying to encourage their players to see this one through to the end, which is always positive to see.
Well, it's really that community environment that you cultivate at Box Hill. Have had quite the turbulent week. Got that 2-1 victory over Springvale White Eagles in the MPL3 men's competition, and have gone through plenty of off-field drama as well. I'm sure you would have seen that during the week.
Let's keep this as controversy-free as possible. Let's let the powers that be deal with that how they see fit. The ball is whipped in from the left. Decent delivery, and it now is 5. Great header in the middle. And now it is a 5-star performance for the FV Emerging. The result is now in no doubt. And they'll take all 3 points on Monday Night Football here on MPLW Victoria. Stunning ball in from the left. And the header from the middle was able to match up to the cross. And the FV Emerging have 5.
Well, they can do it all. In stagnant moments of play, between the lines, and through brilliant crosses like that. FV Emerging. Well, they've earned their 5th. Kelsey Quinn's penalty save was not enough. And as we edge or creep into the stoppage time, well, FV Emerging have deserved this result, and they might go for a 6th.
There's Alana Murphy with the 5th, and she's streaming into the middle, but the ball in was unable to find her. But what a performance again from FV Emerging. Been brilliant again, and they will go 4 from 4, and they will sit atop the NPLW Victoria table tonight. They'll displace the dominant Calder United, who won everything there was to win in 2019 in Victorian women's football. But now, the challenger displaces the champion. What a story it is. Good work from the substitute in Fotopoulos to win it back. Once again, there's a outnumbering midfield. The way of the FE Emerging, and they're looking to work forward again. Alana Murphy out to the left. It's now Holly Furphy. Looks to clip one in the middle again, but Kelsey Clinton will deal without trouble.
Well, I think it's a testament to, I guess, Football Victoria's ambition. I think they've been pumped, FE Emerging, in recent years, results-wise, and hasn't really played in their favour. And well, to go on a 4-match winning streak to start the season isn't too shabby at all, I have to say. I think if you're a run-of-the-mill W League club, well, there are plenty of women here who have the credentials. As Laura Pickett is on that left-hand side, she'll look to square it to Erin Kate, who has had plenty to deal with against her former opponents.
Miocic did so well to win it back and turn away. Once again, they've been able to deal with the danger. As there's another substitution to be made. And this time it's a Box Hill change. Coming on is Renee Sofronides, and off goes Rachel Jarvis. Very high caliber player, obviously, formerly of Southampton, but unable to make her mark on this game, and Sofronides comes on to replace her. As we're into the final knockings of this game then, FE Emerging will take all 3 points once again and rocket to the top of the NPLW Victoria ladder. We're into the game's final stanza. This may well be the game's final chance. It's Holly Furphy breaking forward. It's the middle. It's Alana Murphy! And she's scored again! Stunning supply from the left. From Holly Furphy. And like a hot knife through butter, FE Emerging have scored yet again. 5 becomes 6. And another 3 points on the board for FE Emerging. Liquid gold football. Squared to the middle. And an easy tap in for Alana Murphy. Is the cherry on the cake for a stunning night for FE Emerging, Neil.
Furphy to Murphy. It rhymes well, and the goal fits the stunning play of FE Emerging. Liquid football, as you describe, and it might go for a 7th.
Ball's on the right with Carriage. Can they find their way into 7th heaven? Not immediately. Ball now out for a throw. But once again, another stellar performance. Miocic just forward of halfway in an attacking sense for FE Emerging. Looks to go out wide. That's a decent ball. Now, will the chance be created here from Furphy? It's a shot on goal, and it bobbles through to Kelsey Quinn. Who did save a penalty from Naomi Chinema earlier in the second half, but it won't have any bearing on the result. Driving forward is Stewards. She loses out Turn around the corner. And now keeping it in play is Emma Langley. Ball forward again as Chinema goes across the cover. Clip forward as there's another ball over the top. This time well dealt with from a Box Hill point of view. It was by the substitute in Johanna Zekas. Ball moving forward. There's options on the right. Chance on goal and it's taken. And it's 6-2. It's Georgia Candelas who gets another consolation goal for Box Hill. And the substitute for Box Hill, with a very tidy finish, it must be said, just rolled it low past the goalkeeper, showed the composure that's seen her play at such a high level for so long in women's football. But once again, it is just another consolation. The score now 6-2. What a game of football on a Monday night.
Well, to witness 8 goals is something. To witness 8 well-created and well-crafted goals is another. And Georgia Candelas is an illustration of that. Earns a second for the season as the ball is whipped in once again. Rolled to Furphy. And Box Hill unable to clear the lines. Finds Furphy in the middle. Afforded inches of space. Long shot taken. And a wonderful save from Kelsey Gwynn. She darted to her right and made the stunning save, which will cancel out a potential 7th for FE Emerging.
Yeah, that was a brilliant save. That will give her a bit of confidence. As now 3 minutes of added time have just been signalled. The corner goes short. There's been a late flurry of goals in this game, and there's still time for another, possibly. There's options in the middle, and they can't be found. It's well blocked. It's disappeared behind for a corner.
Our apologies. It appears that the stream that we were working off had the times wrong, so we are now entering the final 3 minutes of this fixture. Our sincere apologies there. However, a corner is earned for FV Emerging. Could we see a 9th in this fixture? The question remains to be seen. Ball whipped in. Plenty of men waiting at the back post as Box Hill on the counter through Erin Kate. Ball is played down low on the left-hand side, drifting through. She's got plenty to part with, and a brilliant run. It's rolled square once again, and FV Emerging do well to clear the ball out for a throw-in.
It was a blistering counter-attack from Box Hill, who are ending this game strongly, despite the game being gone from their point of view. Now whipped in from the left from Pickett. Cleared away at the first opportunity, but Pickett looks to recycle it. Chinema picks the ball up for FE Emerging, and now they're going the other way. It's now Sarah Kane on the left. Plays it in behind, looking for Furphy. Alana Murphy's in the middle again. Furphy, for the moment, elects to go alone. Clips it in ball to Isabella Stewards. Chinema from range is an audacious effort. Oh, it just goes over the crossbar. That was ever so close. That would have been a quite brilliant strike from range that would have foxed Kelsey Quinn and everyone else here at the ground tonight, but it just finds its way over the bar. Flicked on. There's no one there for Box Hill for them to keep possession. Referee checks a watch. Ball clipped forward. Is there time for an FE Emerging 7th? Good work on the left. And there's a foul. So maybe one final chance then for the FV Emerging, who, regardless of whatever happens from this free kick, will sit atop the NPLW Victoria ladder after 4 rounds, something that would have been unfathomable from a lot of NPLW Victoria fans and players alike. They've proved the doubters wrong, and against the odds, they will sit atop the table at the end of tonight. It's whipped in, header on goal, chance for a tap in, it's Richards, and somehow the chance has been squandered, but it does not matter. FV Emerging are on fire, irrepressible at the moment, unstoppable at the moment, and who is going to stand in their way? No one stands in their way at the moment. They are now on top of the NPLW Victoria ladder, 4 wins from 4, and a quite brilliant performance tonight to cement that. 6 goals they scored, spread around as well, and there's some beautiful goals in amongst that as well, fully deserving of the 3 points tonight. And Neil Simons, what a performance. They're just flexing their muscles at the moment.
Well, Box Hill, they put in an improvement in the performance from last week's drubbing. Well, going from 7 goals conceded to 4 doesn't do much. However, the attention must be focalized upon FV Emerging. What a turnaround it has been from the disastrous 2019 season. It's a squad full of Matilda's aspirants. And I guess, yes, they've flexed their credentials. That's the best way to describe it. Some textbook attacking football. They've adapted in various game situations through quite some adverse conditions in this rainy evening, overcast evening. It's been quite cold as well. So as we edge closer to the winter months, FV Emerging, they're making the Knox Regional Football Complex into a fortress.
And we're getting into the colder months, but FV Emerging with a white-hot performance tonight. Box Hill couldn't go with them. And the FV Emerging side sit atop the NPLW Victoria table. What a story that is. And at the moment, they are the best side in the division. How long can they sustain it? Well, it's been a pleasure to call this one for you on this Monday night. Final score, FV Emerging 6, Box Hill United 2. I've been Oliver Walker-Peel. He's been Neil Simons, and we hope to see you on another NPLW Victoria broadcast very soon. Bye for now.